The flood of mercy pours down over me. Christ took my mess and nailed it to a tree. I've needed a lift more than a time or two. Thank God I'm alive, singing this song for you.
Hey everybody, welcome to Skyline's weekly video blurb. We're talking about characteristics common in successful people. Part 1 was successful people follow other successful people. Part 2 was they have tenacity. And today, or this week, is successful people have vision. Successful people have vision. They can't get away from it. It keeps them awake at night. It keeps them awake during the day. It gives them energy during the day. It drives them. It's almost intrinsic to them. In fact, I believe that before the foundations of the earth, God had a plan for everybody, and that they had vision imparted into their little souls before they were born. And so, number 1 under vision is this: you just can't get away from vision. If you're a successful person, it's in you. It burns in you. Number 2 is this: people's lives run wildly if they do not have vision. I'm going to read for you Proverbs 29 verse 18. Listen to this. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keeps the law is happy. Lives waste away when you don't have vision. It says right there, where there's no vision, people perish. They die. They fade away. They wither, if you want to put it that way. I think that's a fine way to put it. A different translation would say this: where there is no vision, the people, they cast off restraints. They cast off restraints. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. 2 other versions of the Bible, translations of the Bible, will give us a little more insight here. This is the Bible in basic English. Where there's no vision, the people are uncontrolled. Uncontrolled. And then Proverbs 29:18 in God's Word translation says this: without prophetic vision, people run wild. You know, people, they cast off restraints. They're uncontrolled. They run wild. People that you see out in the world, they're wild, they're crazy, they don't have anything that guides them, they don't tend to have any moral compass whatsoever. It's because they don't have a vision. And this applies to homes, this applies to businesses. Those successful people are successful because they have a vision that they're implementing. Number 3. Well, here's a quote from George Washington Carver before we hit number 3. Where there is no vision, there's no hope. That goes together with people running wild, running uncontrolled, running without restraint. These are wild and crazy people. They have no restraints. They've got nothing to guide their lives. They've got no fence on either side, or no lines down the center or the sides of the road for them. Vision brings us direction and guidance. Then number 3, where there's no vision, there will be division. That word, division, comes from 2 words, vision. It means dual visions or more than one vision. I think about what my dad used to say: there's just too many chiefs. There's not enough Indians. There's too many chiefs, not enough Indians. In the tribes, they would have one chief, and he would make all the shots. He would bring the vision. He would bring what that tribe would need to stay in control and on track and be successful. And so where there's no vision, there will be dual visions, or division, or division is our English word there. Somebody must lead. Somebody must lead. Otherwise, there'll be more than one vision, and then you know that can bring all kinds of hassles. Number 4, write it down. Write the vision down. Make it plain so people can run with it. Habakkuk says this. That's in the Bible, a book in the Bible. Then the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it clear on tablet so that anyone can read it quickly. King James adds, can read it and run with it. And so you want to make your vision plain. If it's for your house, write down your goals for your household. Maybe you're making up a budget, which is a good thing. Maybe you're making up a plan to be involved at church. You're making up a plan to be involved or start a new business. You need to write these things down. If you don't write them down, you have nothing to refer back to. It'll become a disaster. You'll flip-flop. You'll wander around. I had an uncle ask me once, a wise uncle, a very successful businessman. He said, Don, what are you going to do when you get out of school? When you get out of Bible school? I said, oh, I'm just going to follow the Lord. And he said, that's wonderful. I'm glad you're going to follow the Lord. But he says this, a person that doesn't have a vision or a plan is going to flop around on the seashore in life, just like a fish when you catch them and you throw them up on the shore, on the sand. They just flop around. He said, that's what you're going to do if you don't chart your course, you don't get a vision, you don't plan your life out. I think about Skyline Church. We have a vision. It started off 13, 14-page plan for the church. It's very malleable in many parts, but then there's some non-negotiables to it too. And without that vision, without that thing written down, people don't know where we're going. So we handed that thing out at the beginning. We still hand it out once in a while. We talk about it all the time. We refer to it all the time. And it's a very successful instrument for us. The vision, written down, made plain. Warren G. Bennett said this, leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. When you write that down, you have an instrument you can refer to and work off from to make your vision become reality. That's very important. And finally, number 5, vision gets you through the muck and the mire. It gets you through the tough times, the hard days. It produces, really generates energy in you. It just boils up inside of you and it will create an energy in you. The grace of God will do that. When God speaks to your heart and He says, I want you to work on these things and I want you to work on this or that or the next thing, that generates a great amount of energy in me. It'll generate a great amount of energy in you as well. Bill Hybels says this about vision getting you through. Visionary people face the same problems that everyone else faces, but rather than get paralyzed by their problems, visionaries immediately commit themselves to finding a solution. Why is that? Because they're driven by their vision. So listen, characteristics common in successful people. Today's is all about vision. If you don't have a vision, spend some time thinking about it. Spend some time praying about it. The Lord will speak to you about it. And write that thing down and then begin to strategize and set some goals to reach those visions or that vision that you have burning inside of you. All right, that's enough for this week. We'll pick it up here next week with point number 4, characteristics common in successful people. God bless you. Bye-bye.